This senator will not allow that bill to come for a vote. If I have to stay on the floor all night and all day tomorrow and do whatever I have to, I am prepared to do it. I thought that I would end this about 8 o'clock, but I'm feeling a little better. And I got great kidneys, and I got some of these lozenges here. I'll be doggone if I'm going to allow any other legislation to go through. Right down on the border in Mexico way.
The New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato, a filibuster in 1992, over an extremely obscure provision of tax law that was going to, he thought, screw over New Yorkers, I think. Rich, you wanted to respond quickly before I go to the senator.
Well, yes, I just wanted to say, I know I'm not a professor of constitutional law, but I can read the plain language of Article 1, Section 5, which says that the Senate gets to write its own rules. And rules about debate, the length of debate, are well within that constitutional competence of the Senate.
And it gets to amend its rules by majority rule.
And that brings us to the constitutional option, which is to say at the beginning of a Senate, when a new Congress is called, they adopt the rules and they can by a majority vote. And I want to bring in Senator Jeff Merkly, Democrat of Oregon, a leading advocate of filibuster reform in the Senate. Senator, good morning. And you are not trying to scrap the filibuster. Tell me what your goal is in the reforms that you have proposed.
Yes, we're trying to make the filibuster actually work the way it was intended. That is that folks have to make their case known before their colleagues, before the American public, that they can't simply use a filibuster, the silent filibuster we have now, to obstruct bills and kill bills in the dead of night. And so clearing the path to the floor enhances debate. Getting things to conference committee certainly doesn't subtract from debate and moves the process forward. And the talking filibuster says that if you're going to obstruct or say there should be more debate, you have to make your case, and the public can weigh in on whether you're a hero or a bum.
If a cable news viewer has woken up early on this Saturday morning to watch us here, and they are thinking to themselves, why am I watching these people talk about how they're going to run their meetings? What is your answer for them? What are the substantive stakes for citizens in what I think can appear to be somewhat of an arcane procedural debate?
It has to do with this. We have huge issues facing America. Of course, many folks right now are talking about the fiscal cliff. And if we can't have dialogue and decision-making in the U.S. Senate, then our government is unable to respond to the big issues that we face. And I can tell you my perspective comes from having gone first to the U.S. Senate when I was 19. It was 1976, and I covered the Tax Act of that year. And I saw amendment after amendment brought up, debated, and decided. And that's the way the Senate generally worked. The Senate is completely different today. It's paralyzed and broken in a way no one could have envisioned a couple of decades ago.
I want to show some data on that score. Cloture motions, number of cloture motions, which is attempts to break the filibuster, have just absolutely skyrocketed. These are because indications of cloture have skyrocketed. Percent of judicial nominees confirmed by the president for Barack Obama is 42.8%. You see they're in the 90s and 80s there, and then they go down dramatically. And then to give you a sense of how much things have changed historically, this is a really important historical document about the evolution of how normal it was to get a 60-vote threshold, which is, we all now, when we cover politics, we say, oh, they're counting votes. They only got 58 votes in the Senate. Not going to happen. This is from 1964. And this is a note from President Lyndon Johnson's Senate liaison, Mike Manitos. And he is writing to Johnson's campaign manager about a Medicaid vote. Medicaid, okay? Medicaid's a big deal. Are we going to get Medicaid passed? He says, of the 49 votes cast on behalf of Medicare, we lost 2 supporters in the last election. This is after the election. So where are our votes after the election? We also had 3 supporters who missed the vote this year. Thus, if all our supporters are present and voting, we would win by a vote of 55 to 45. So here you have in 1964 no expectation that a bill as massive as Medicaid will be filibustered, and now we have a situation where basically every motion to filibuster. You said earlier that the way this works is that only if the minority exercises restraint. Do you think that restraint has been lost?
It seems to have eroded. I do want to correct something you said earlier about the Senate adopting its rules at the beginning of the Congress. The Senate does not adopt its rules. The Senate's rules are continuous. The Senate is a continuing body, and the Senate standing rules state that explicitly. So the Senate does not need to, and in fact does not adopt its rules every year. So the Senate has litigated the question as to whether it's a continuing body, and the Senate has decided that, yes, it is in fact a continuing body. You mentioned that Medicare was able to pass with less than 60 votes. The Senate has functioned. The Senate has functioned for over 200 years with unlimited debate. It has managed to do that. The contract between majority and minority has been sound for over 200 years.
Then what's changed?
Possibly the fact that there is 24/7 news cycles. What's changed is in the province of the political scientists. It's not in the province of we the parliamentarians.
No, but wait a second. But I want to press you on this. You have seen what has happened. I want you just to tell me that is it correct that the norms of what gets filibustered have changed over your time in the Senate?
It does appear that the norms have changed, yes. But there is an underlying principle of empowering the minority, of restraining the majority, that I do believe is consistent with the framers' intent. That has worked. It's worked through the Civil War. It's worked through the Civil Rights era. It has worked. And I think it's an extremely important institutional, a political imperative that the minority has the ability to have input, meaningful input.
Senator, I want to get your response to that and ask you if you are preserving that, according to Al Fruman, important principle, according to me, not very important principle, right after we take this break.